Hello everyone, welcome back to the manual testing interview questions and answers series. This is the part 14 video. As a part of this video, we are going to see few more scenario based questions. Below is the list of all the questions. So let's start with today's first question. Question is, how do you handle flaky test? First, identify flaky test, continuous monitoring, track test execution or multiple runs using test management tools or a CI/CD pipelines. Flakiness detection tool, use tools like flaky test detector in Jenkins or a test retry analyzer. Logging and reporting. Maintain detailed log and reports for analysis. Second, analyze root cause. Environment issue. Check for inconsistent test environment, network latency or resource contention. Test data issue. Ensure test data is stable, predictable, and reset before each run. Timing and synchronization. Fix timing issue using explicit wait or improve synchronization. Test code issue. Refactor fragile code, especially in UI or end-to-end test. Third, mitigate and prevent. Retry mechanism. Implement test retries with tools like TestNG, JUnit or Cypress. Isolation. Run tests in isolation environments using containers like Docker. Mocking and stubbing. Replace external dependencies using mock to reduce flakiness. Parallel execution management. Ensure tests don't conflict when executed in parallel. Fourth, improve test stability. Review and refactor unreliable tests and follow best coding practices. Enhance logging and reporting. Implement detailed logs for easier debugging. Maintain test data. Use database snapshots or mock data instead of dynamic inputs. Let's move for the another question. Next question is, how do you test an application without any documentation? First, explore the application, ad hoc testing, perform exploratory testing to understand application flow and behavior. Identify features, navigate through the application to recognize key modules and functionalities. Note observations, document UI element, workflow, and error messages for reference. Second, interact with the stakeholder. Ask questions, collaborate with developers, product owner, or a business analyst to understand expectation. Gather insights, seek informal requirement or acceptance criteria from available stakeholders. Review existing resources. Check for emails, chat conversations, or older documents. Third, perform reverse engineering. Analyze code. If access is available, review code or API responses to understand logic. Database analysis. Investigate database schemas to comprehend data flow. Use log. Application logs can reveal functional behavior and error handling. Fourth, create test scenario. Use domain knowledge. Apply industry standards and best practices for scenario creation. Follow competitor analysis. Refer to similar applications for expected behaviors. Apply common test techniques. Use boundary value analysis, equivalence partitioning, and error guessing. Fifth, document findings, create test artifacts, develop test cases, test scenarios, and defect reports, build test data, establish data sets for functional, navigate, and edge case testing, share feedback, provide feedback to stakeholder on unclear or inconsistent behavior. This is all about test and application without any documentation. Let's move for the another question. Next question is, how do you handle incomplete or unclear requirements? First, clarify and gather information, engage stakeholder, collaborate with product owner, business analyst or developers to clarify requirements, ask questions, conduct a requirement clarification meeting and seek detailed explanations, analyze similar feature, refer to similar functionalities in the application or competitor products. Second, document assumptions, create assumptions logs, list assumptions made during test design and get them validated. Track queries, maintain a record of unanswered questions for future follow-ups. Provide examples, suggest possible scenarios or behaviors and confirm their correctness. Third, perform exploratory testing. Understand the application, perform exploratory testing to gather insights into application behavior. Identify edge cases, test using real world scenarios and edge cases to uncover issues. Document findings, note unexpected behavior and report them as potential defects. Fourth, prioritize critical features. Risk-based testing focus on high priority and high risk areas with minimal dependency on requirements. Use domain knowledge, apply industry standards and business knowledge to cover functional gaps in all users, gather feedback from end users or conduct user acceptance testing for validation. Fifth, communicate and collaborate. Regular updates. Provide frequent updates to stakeholders on identifies gap and testing progress. Suggest improvements. Recommend, recommend requirement refinement based on testing findings. Adopt agile practices. If agile, leverage sprint review and backlog grooming for clarification. This is all about handle incomplete or unclear requirements. Let's move for the another question. Next question is, how do you perform regression testing in a short time frame? First, prioritize test cases. Risk-based testing focus on high risk and critical functionalities. Business critical feature, prioritize feature that impact end user directly. Frequently use paths, select test cases covering core user journey. Second, perform test case optimization. Smoke and sanity test. Run a quick set of smoke or sanity test to validate stability. Test case reduction. Use techniques like pairwise testing and boundary value analysis to reduce redundant cases. Reusable test script. Maintain well organized, reusable, automated script for faster execution. Third, use test automation. Automated regression suite. Automate stable test cases using tools like Selenium, Cypress, or TestNG. Parallel execution. Run tests in parallel using cloud platforms or containerized environments. Continuous integration (CI/CD). Integrate automated tests with CI/CD pipeline for frequent and quick runs. Fourth, implement selective regression. Impact analysis. Identify modules impacted by recent changes and test only those areas. Change logs. Use developer provided change logs to decide the scope of testing. Component level testing. Perform component or module level regression instead of end to end. Fifth, collaborate and communicate. Work with developers, get insight on area with high impact changes, real-time monitoring, track the test execution using dashboards for key feedback. Report early, provide frequent updates on test progress and defects. So this is all about regression testing in short time. Let's move for the another question. Next question is, how do you ensure maximum test coverage? First, requirements analysis. Review requirements, analyze functional and non-functional requirements thoroughly, clarify doubts, collaborate with the stakeholder to resolve ambiguities. Traceability matrix. Create and maintain a requirement traceability matrix to map test cases to requirement. Second, design comprehensive test cases, positive and negative test. Write test cases for both valid and invalid scenarios. boundary value analysis and equivalence partitioning. Apply boundary value analysis and equivalence class partitioning for efficient coverage. State transition and decision table. Use appropriate technique for complex logic testing. Third, perform different testing types. Functional testing. Ensure all functional aspects are covered. Non-functional testing. Validate performance, security, usability and compatibility. Regression testing includes regression suits to cover previously tested areas, edge cases and error handling test uncommon scenarios to detect hidden defects. Fourth, use tools for coverage measurement. Test management tools like Jira, TestRail or ZipWire help track test case execution. Test coverage tools like Jacoco, Kubertura or SonarQube measures code level coverage for automated tests. Requirements coverage reports. Generate reports to visualize coverage gaps. Fifth, continuous review and optimization. Peer review, conduct regular review of test cases and scenarios, update test suits, update test cases as per new requirements or a defect fix, analyze defects, track defects to identify miss scenario and improve coverage. So this is all about how do you ensure maximum test coverage. Let's move for the another question. Next question is, what is the importance of test data in testing? Test data is crucial in software testing as it directly influences the accuracy, reliability and effectiveness of test results. Here is why test data is important. First, validate functionality ensures the application behavior as expected with different inputs, covers positive, negative and boundary scenarios. Second, identify defects helps uncover bugs, edge cases, and unexpected behavior, support both functional and non-functional testing. Third, ensure test coverage, enables comprehensive coverage of all business scenarios, supports regression testing to validate unchanged functionality. Fourth, support performance and security testing, simulate real-world data for load, stress, and performance tests, provide sensitive data scenarios for security and penetration testing. Fifth, enables automation. Provide reliable, reusable datasets for automated test script. Reduce test execution time by using predefined data sets. Sixth, facilitate decision making, offers actionable insight through meaningful test reports, helps stakeholder evaluate product quality with data back results. So this is all about the why is the importance of test data in testing. Let's move for the another question. Next question is, how would you handle tight deadline for testing? First, prioritize testing, risk-based testing, focus on high priority and critical functionalities, business critical scenarios, test areas that directly impact users, smoke and sanity test, perform quick sanity checks to ensure stability. Second, optimize test coverage, identify key test cases, select key test scenarios instead of exhaustive testing. Leverage test technique. Use boundary value analysis, equivalence class partitioning, and error guessing for effective coverage. Perform exploratory testing. Identify defects quickly without detailed documentation. Third, automate where possible. Use test automation, execute automated regression or smoke test using tools like Selenium or Cypress. Parallel execution, run test in parallel using cloud perform for faster results. Fourth, collaborate effectively. Communicate clearly, maintain open communication with developers and stakeholders, continuous feedback, reports defects and progress in real time using test management tool, leverage team strength, distribute tasks effectively based on expertise. Fifth, monitor and adapt. Track progress, use a dashboard and reports to monitor test execution, adjust scope, be flexible and adjust the test scope if required. perform defect triage, prioritize defect fixing based on severity and impact. So this is all about how would you handle tight deadline for testing. Let's move for the another question. Next question is how do you decide which test cases to automate? First, identify suitable test cases, repetitive tasks ideal for regression, smoke, and sanity tests that are run frequently. Stable test automate scenarios with stable functionality and favor changes. High risk area prioritize automation for critical and high impacted functionalities. Data driven test automate scenarios requiring multiple data combinations. Second, avoid automating certain tests, exploratory and ad hoc tests, best suited for manual testing due to their unpredictable nature. Unstable features, avoid automating rapidly changing or incomplete functionalities. One-time test executed only once or rarely may not worth automating. Third, evaluate technical feasibility. Tool support ensure the selected automated tool supports the application technology that is web mobile API. Complex scenario consider efforts required to automate complex UI integrations or third party integrations. Resource availability assess skill set and time availability for script development and maintenance. Fourth, calculate ROI and efforts. Execution frequently automate tests that needs to be run multiple times across environments. Time saving choose test where automation reduce manual efforts significantly. Maintenance cost avoid automating tests with frequent changes that required constant updates. Fifth, establish a balanced approach hybrid strategy. Combine manual and automated testing for maximum coverage. Incremental automation start with a high impact area and gradually expand. Continuous review recesses automated test coverage as requirements evolves. This is all about how do you decide which test cases to automate. So let's move for the next question. Next question is how would you handle a situation where the client is unhappy with the testing process? First, listen and understand concern, schedule a discussion, arrange a meeting to understand the client concern directly, practice active listening, acknowledge their feedback and ask clarifying questions, identify root cause, determine if the issue is related to test coverage, defect leakage, timelines or communication. Second, analyze and evaluate, review test artifacts, assess test plan, cases, reports, and defect logs for gaps, check matrix, evaluate test coverage, defect detection rates, and test execution programs. Identify process gap, pinpoint inefficiencies in testing lifecycle. Third, communicate transparently. Provide clear explanations. Explain the testing process followed and justify decision where necessary. Share data-driven insights. Use metrics and reports to demonstrate progress and quality assurance efforts. Acknowledge mistakes. Accept responsibilities if genuine mistakes were made and provide a corrective plan. Fourth, offer solution and improvements. At this test strategy propose enhanced test coverage, additional testing cycle, or exploratory testing. Increase collaboration. Schedule regular sync up for feedback and progress update. Implement quality measures. Strengthen defect tracking, improve test reporting, or introduce automated checks. Fifth, follow up and ensure satisfaction. Seek client feedback after implementing corrective action. Get feedback to ensure satisfaction. Document learnings. Record lesson learned to prevent similar issues in future projects. Maintain continuous communication. Keep the client informed on improvements and project process. So this is the let's move for the another question. Next question is how will you ensure quality in a fast-paced startup environment? First, implements agile testing, adopt continuous testing, integrate testing into CI/CD pipeline for rapid feedback, perform frequent builds, run automated tests with every code commits, collaborate closely, foster collaboration between developer, tester, and product teams using agile or scrum methodologies. Second, prioritize testing based on risk. Risk-based testing focus on critical functionalities and user impacting areas. Perform smoke and sanity test. Quickly validate major functionalities after deployments. Leverage exploratory testing. Identify hidden defects by exploring new and complex features. Third, automate where possible. Automate repetitive tasks, automate regression smoke, and API test using tools like Selenium, Cypress, or Postman. Perform parallel testing, use cloud-based solution for faster test execution, use test data management tool, generate and manage test data effectively. Fourth, establish clear quality metrics. Track defect metrics, monitor defect density, defect leakage, and test coverage. Monitor test execution, use a dashboard for real-time visibility, conduct root cause analysis, identify and address recurring issues. Fifth, foster a quality first culture. Involve QA early, engage tester during requirement and design phases, promote developer testing, encourage unit testing, code review, and static code analysis. Provide quick feedback, report defects promptly for faster resolution. 6. Continuous learning and improvement. Conduct retrospective, regularly review and improve testing processes, stay adaptive, be flexible with processes to align with rapid product changes. Upskill team, provide training on new testing tools and techniques. So this is the thanks for watching. If you enjoy this video, don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the bell icon for more videos. See you in the next one video.